Yeah, the first miracle is that Mary Jo's up here on the stage because she's not one. She's not a behind the scenes lady. She don't forget, so it's just the Holy Spirit that got her up here. We just want to just show some slides and stuff with you guys that when we went to Nigeria with our son, they would go over there, do medical missions, do surgeries, and we reached out to Burnside to help with the monetary of the surgical supplies that they needed, and then also the orphanage where they took a donation with the soccer balls, and I think we had over 2,000 dum-dum suckers, and the kids were in heaven. They're so appreciative, and we've got some slides here, so. There we go. Our daughter Sarah helped us do this because we were totally computer illiterate. So this is just our, actually this is when we started. We flew from actually Denver, Colorado to Frankfurt, Germany, and then we went from Frankfurt, Germany to Abuja, Nigeria. The trip from Denver to Frankfurt was 9.5 hours. And then from Frankfurt to Abuja was 6.5. And then we went from Abuja to Kaduna on a train, which was around 2 hours. So this is just some of the vehicles they have over there. And I will never complain about another pothole in Hancock County again as long as I live. Tail lights, turn signals, and brake lights are optional, but you've got to make sure that your horn works. You pass somebody and it's just terrible. And the little yellow thing up there, the three-wheel thing, is what they call KKs, and they're everywhere. They have hatchback, like SUVs. The back doors are never shut. They've got stuff piled in them, and then they're tied down to hold stuff in, so it's just crazy. This is where we stayed. The people there is Tunde and Tina Bawanta. Tunde is the minister over there that he founded the orphanage and the hospital. And if you can see, he has a Burnside Christian Church cap on, so Burnside is alive and well in Nigeria. So, this is the orphanage where they built everything out of, either it has to be out of steel or concrete, because if they build it out of wood, the termites are so bad, it just destroys it. There's Mary Jo with one of the bags of dum-dums, and she said, well, will you just call the kids or whatever? She said, no, all you gotta do is just walk out there. If you got that bag of dum-dums, them kids will be there. Most definitely they were. And we also took over jump ropes, and kids over there are just so appreciative, so happy. They have nothing, but they are just happy. And all these kids are orphans that live here. They also have a school there, and they open it up, and the surrounding families will send their kids also to this school. When they was jumping rope, they was saying the ABCs, and then when they missed, they would stop and hand it to another kid so then they could start. But the orphans that are there came from what they call displacement camps, and their parents had been killed by the Muslims. That when they went through, and if they denounced their faith, and they said, are you Muslim or a Christian? If their parents said we were Christians, they killed them. They just murdered them. So there was, I don't know how many thousands of kids in displacement camps over there, but they usually just take from the ages 6 and under into the orphanage. How many, do you remember how many?
There's like 40 or 50 kids.
40 or 50 kids at this, and they was getting in 9 more, I think, when we was there. And so they was bringing these new kids in. They're just more of the kids there. They loved her hair. I mean, it's just white hair, and they go up touch it. These are the doctors that went. Our son is there with the, I'd say, the jersey cap on. And then some of you people probably remember Kurt Davis. He was a doctor here for several years, and they work out at Lakeland, Kansas. And then the doctor, he is Stuart Quartemont, and he's from Houston, Texas, and he founded Medical Missions International, and that's what they went through and worked through with Medical Missions International. They're doing some of the surgeries. How many did they do?
43.
Yeah, they did 43 surgeries. We was there about a week, and they did 43 surgeries in Kaduna. Anything from, they did a C-section, they did a lot of the fibroid cysts in the uteruses, they did hysterectomies, hernias, they did appendix. It's just amazing how much it did. And they're working. We like the one there that Mark and Kurt are working, and Stuart is watching. Stuart has been going over there since the mid-'80s. Him and his wife lived over there for a while. And they call him the prophet over there. He evangelizes, and he's just a good person. Actually, the picture on that's Mark, and honestly, that's me. So I'm not a doctor, I just play one on TV. And then on the other side, you can see each doctor, each one of them was doing the surgery at that time, and I think they were doing lipomas at that time there, yes. So this is a little boy, about, what was he?
He was 11 months, and his 2 fingers weren't, they were separated at birth. And so they took him and cut him apart and stitched him up so he'll have all use of all fingers.
And then the lady on the side there, that is Elizabeth. She was the surgery nurse or the charge nurse there. And if we was going to do surgeries here the way they did over there, they'd be shut down. I mean, I think the first 2 or 3 days in the surgery room, which over there, they don't call it the surgery room, it's called the theater. There was a gecko running around on the floor. So, and then one day you hear Elizabeth and you hear wham, 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 wham. And there wasn't any more gecko. And then there also is Mark and Elizabeth, and then that is Dr. David. He is the doctor that's there at the hospital and the doctor's office, and there people come. And there you can see a line of people. They come every day, and you sit and you wait, and if you're seen that day, you're seen that day, and if you're not, you go home and you come back the next day. There's no really appointments. And then this is their female ward, where after they have the surgery, the surgeries over there is, nobody was put to sleep. It was done with a spinal block or with locals. So if they did a fibroid cyst on the uterus, they need a spinal block, but you're not put to sleep. This is their electric system in the hospital. So you can see the board there, and then on the other side, that's the generator, because they could be doing the surgery, and while they're doing the surgery, the power goes out. And so they had the lights, battery-powered lights on their head. So then Elizabeth would open the door or the window and holler something out, and then you'd hear before long the generator start up. And I went out one side and I said, well, we need the generator started up. So the guy said, well, okay. He goes, well, I got to put some water in it. So he had to put water in the radiator. And he says, okay. And he picks up a rock, he bangs it on the fuel pump, and and so the fuel pump starts running, and it starts, and the power comes on. But it's their public power over there is very undetermined, so they have to use the generator to back up. And the only air conditioning they have is in the surgery room, and it's not much of an air conditioning. This we visited on the place where the orphanage stuff was. They have a bakery. They bake bread there from the orphanage and also sell it to the outside. Here they're building, the guy on there where the red is he's building a road. And they bring dirt in and truck and dump it out. Then he takes a wheelbarrow on a scoop and he built that up. So on the other side, they're building, that's footings for a foundation for a new building. And they're actually having built by hand. It's all done by hand. So there's just some of the wildlife we see. More the kids in the classroom. That's a new orphanage building that they built. And then this has been at one of the church services that we went to. There's Kurt, and another place out at Fort Hardcore. And the money that we sent over there helped build the supply cabinet back there. And it says, "Thank you, Burnside Christian Church." And then it's just the open hand of God. That's where the privilege God blessed us a year ago. And I guess they speak Hausa over there, and Sanu Diaki means good job. So I just want to say to the congregation, Sanu Diaki. Thank you.